started first. When we go to football games and we play football games, we play these tunes. The first one we're going to play is on Wisconsin, and that is what we call our fight song for the football team. And that's whenever we score, whether we score a field goal or a touchdown or whatever we do to score, that's what we play. Okay, so we're going to play on Wisconsin. Feel free to follow along with the guard girls up front. They're going to be doing some different things. So if you figure it out, go ahead and go for it. Are you guys ready? So, how many of you guys have been to a football game before? All of you guys have heard this next song too. I Have the Tiger. This is kind of like the song that we like to play at the beginning of the game, and every once in a while when we really want to get the team pumped up, if they're doing something really well, or if we need to get them going so they can push through and try to win the game. So, I Have the Tiger. So we do a bunch of other tunes in the stands, and we're going to play a couple of those for you. The first one that we do, we like to play this one a lot. It's just a fun one to play. And it features the trumpets a little bit at the beginning. So we have different sections in the band. We have our wind section, which are woodwinds, flutes, clarinet, sax, and then our brass section, which on the show we just have trumpets and trombone, and then we have our percussion section, which is our battery percussion, our non-pitch percussion, our tenor drums, snare drum, cymbals, bass drums, and then some of the members in the battery, when we're not playing stand tunes, when we're out on the field, they play in the pit on the keyboard instruments, on the bells, xylophone, and vibraphone. So we're going to play little stand tunes for you. So the next stand tune that we do, this one we play, this one also is a defensive tune as well. We call it Eat 'em Up. And what we want the defense to do is we want to go in there and eat 'em up and get that ball back, okay? So the cheer to this is eat 'em up, rah, rah, rah. Okay? Eat 'em up, rah, rah, rah. Say it with me, ready, go. Eat 'em up, rah, rah, rah. Good. cheer that, okay? My kids corrected me. I'm old school. I say rah, rah, rah. They say go big blue. So eat 'em up, go big blue. All right? Or somebody just broke a tackle and ran for like a 20 or 30-yard run, whatever it might be, we usually try to play this as often as we can as well. Go big blue. Here we go, 3 times through. 1, 2, 3. All right. So the next thing we're doing is we are obviously a marching band, and what makes a marching band different from any other band is that we move while we're playing. Usually concert bands or orchestras sit down and they play their instruments. Marching bands are made to move so we can march in parades, march on the field, and perform in that aspect, in the outdoors. So what we're going to do is we had your teachers pick a couple volunteers at this time. I want those volunteers to come down and come on down. Yep. Come on down and give me a minute. We're going to break them up into groups really quick, and then I'll tell you what's going on. Okay? differently than just normal people walking up and down the street. Okay, we have a style of step that we use. It's called a roll step, and that keeps the wind players from sounding funny. Okay, because if you just walk and you're playing an instrument, your feet just kind of hit the ground, and that transfers up the sound. You hear the band. If you hear a band going whoa, 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 that means that they're like slamming their feet to the ground. We don't like doing that. We like sounding really good, so we do a roll step, and we march on a basic field. We march what's called an 8 to 5. There's 8 steps, 8 step sizes that we march from 1 yard line to the next yard line. So that's what they're going to be teaching these guys how to do, is march 8 to 5. They're also teaching them our basic attention and our parade rest. So when they're ready to go and we're at attention, that means the band's ready to go and we're ready to play. And then there's a certain posture that they need to stand at. And then when they are done playing, we call everybody to parade rest and we break from there. Okay? So they're going to be working with them, and the guard is working with a couple of the girls to teach them how to do what we call a drop spin, the basic spin with the flags. Okay? So in the marching band, the guard is really important because they're part of what we call our visual component. What we see on the field and the colors, they get to bring out the flags that have all the different colors and different designs on them, and the flags help kind of tell the story of what we're doing in the field. So with the marching band, we have a history that's tied into the military. That's why marching bands exist. So if you ever get a chance to go to Washington, D.C., or you get to go to a military base, you will almost always see at some point in time, if there's a big event, you will see a marching band. And it's a military band, and they will be marching in block formation, and they'll be marching very much like the kids are out on the field now, and like what we do. How many of you guys have seen us? I know some of you have seen us. How many of you guys have seen us practice after school? Yeah. We practice, like at the beginning of the practice, we always start out by marching. We always start out by marching in what we call block formation, and we practice marching in that 8 to 5. So if you see us doing that, that's what we're doing, is we're warming up and getting things ready to go. Okay, so how many of you guys have ever heard of John Philip Sousa? John Philip Sousa, a couple hands up here. Great. Who can tell me, yell really loud, who can tell me who he is, if you think you know who he is? What did he do? What did he do? You're right, you're part of it. He was a famous band director, and he was also a famous composer. He actually was the first director of the military bands for the United States Marine Corps, what we call the President's Own Band. It's the band that travels with the president. When the president goes around the country or goes to visit another country, the President's Own Band will travel and perform as he gets on and off the airplane at various events. They will perform at the White House and other locations as well. John Philip Sousa actually wrote a lot of marches, and he was one of the first famous military band directors. And when he was retired from the military, he ran his own band. And it's why I'm bringing him up is because I believe tomorrow is his birthday. So he is a very famous musician in the history of America. He's a famous American composer, and a lot of you probably recognize a lot of his marches. so they're going to march to our cadence. Okay, we're going to do one group at a time so you can see them. All right, feel free to cheer them on. And we're starting with Amber's group. Amber is our drum major this year, so we're going to start with Amber's group. Here we go. So they're done, so she just called them the parade rest, so they're going to stand at parade rest while the other groups perform. There we go. Okay, ready? Same thing. Here we go, drummers. We get to see the guard do their drop spins. Okay? All right. Big round of applause for everybody. Thank you very much. You guys back up to stand. So our show this year, we are doing a show based off of the seasons, and we are actually using music from a composer who wrote a piece of music called The Seasons. Antonio Vivaldi was a classical composer. He actually was a music teacher as well. He taught at an all-girls orphanage, and for a big part of his life, and he wrote lots and lots of music for string instruments. And a lot of the music that he wrote was written to feature the musicians that he was teaching. And this was one of them. This is what's called a string concerto. And a concerto, it features a specific instrument or maybe a couple of instruments, and then a larger group accompanies or other instruments accompany. This piece was written for violins. It's a violin concerto. And the original piece was written for some of his students to perform. The piece depicts the different seasons. It starts out with spring, goes to summer, fall, and then winter. We call it autumn instead of fall. And originally, the piece was also written to depict or portray birds flying and birds moving throughout the different seasons. And if you ever get a chance, it's a much larger work. It's a lot of music to it. You hear a lot of different things happening, and you will hear the birds flying. And that's how we start the show. We actually our first formation that we set up in. If we were in a higher stadium, you would see it even better. We were actually set up in a formation or the shape of a bird, and the bird then eventually moves in the first couple sets, moves into a circle that's rotating around just like a flock of birds when they swarm. And then we come into a different formation from there. But every once in a while throughout the show, you should see or will see different parts of the show where we are set up in a formation that looks like a bird. A lot of times the bird has a sunset or sunrise around it as well. The flags that we use are different colors that portray the different colors of the seasons. The first set of flags are greenish color to portray spring and summer, where all the leaves are full bloom and full color. And then when we move into autumn, we feature a flute soloist, Jesse Hansberger, and the flags change to a yellowish orange red color. And then we end with winter, which is a blue, white, and silver flag. And with the end of the show, we kind of go back to the beginning. We recap it with a little bit of the music from the beginning of the show. And we end in the formation of a bird that eventually flies off, or looks like it's flying off. So we hope you guys enjoy our show, The Seasons. aren't playing an instrument now, that is okay. You can still join the band. We still have room, especially with guard. Guard members do not have to play instruments. It does help because then they know what the musical line is, but most of my guard members are in choir or had played an instrument at one point in time. So feel free to come and see me. And we usually have our sign-ups for marching band to start the following year, sometime early spring, like end of February, middle of February, end of February into March. So be thinking about it, okay? Does anybody, teachers, we good? Okay. We are going to cadence you out of here, okay? So looks like Mrs. Thompson's group gets to go first, okay? So follow the